Here we are. So this is day number 2 of our sourdough. So basically we've got our bowl, which are marked 20 mils from the top, which it's actually, I'm looking for the mark, it's actually covering the mark. So it's risen to there's the mark. It's actually risen to that point now. So from us actually adding or doing the last stretch and fold is, I think that was about 6:30 last night, and it's getting on 7:45 this morning. So it's risen to where I wanted it to be. So just the characteristics, looking at it, it's changed in smell. It's bubbly on the surface. I've actually damaged the top there, just taken the this off. I was a little bit cack-handed with it, and I touched the top of it. Anyway, that's that aside. We're going to look at what the other one looks like. But what I'm actually surprised at is the both, if I can manage to take this off, yeah, that's it. The both risen pretty much exactly the same, and that's what I'm surprised at. I mean, I would have thought that my old one would have done better and would have arrived there at the quicker point than the new one, but it hasn't. So we're happy with that. That's good. So characteristics, what we're looking for. First of all, if you can see or not see, I don't know, let's have a look. It's slightly domed on the surface. So it's still pushing up. It's still kind of rising up, which is what we want. The second thing we notice, which it's inevitable, if it's risen, then it's full of air bubbles around the side, which you might not be able to see. Like I say, it's still early morning, so it is a little bit dark and whatever, so I'm relying on the natural light. The third thing is, if you shake it there, it's got a nice little jelly wobble to it. So that's telling us that it's full of bubbles, it's full of carbon dioxide, it's full of what we need to make our sourdough rise, which is great. That's what we want. Now, what we are actually trying to achieve is, and just to show you that that's the one that's marked. So this is my old one, my old starter in there. So what we're actually trying to achieve is reach kind of a peak. And this is the critical part of sourdough. Like I say, I'm an absolute newbie. So I've probably made, definitely less than 20 loaves, but probably less than that. But I've been doubling up, making 2 loaves at a time, so that probably etches it up a little bit. And in my experience so far, the thing that makes the biggest difference, and what it spoke about as well, so I've obviously done a learning, is this part of the process, which is the fermentation. They call it bulk ferment. We can call it whatever we want. But just so you know, if you're kind of a little bit bamboozled by some of the terminology, which I was, and it didn't make a lot of sense to me, because they were kind of transitioning between what I'd normally associate with normal bread making, and sourdough seemed to be a different language. Anyway, that aside, it confused me a lot, and there's loads of stuff out there that's confused. The whole point of this is to strip it back and to make it simple, to simplify the process so anyone can do it. So you don't have to be a scientist, you don't have to be, Einstein to make a loaf of sourdough. You just need to follow process. And up to now, we haven't done anything difficult. It's done everything itself, right from the get-go, putting flour and water together as a starter 2 weeks ago. And there we go. Today we've produced something that looks, like a sourdough ferment. So there we go. Not ferment, of sourdough dough even. So I've got myself confused. Yeah, I've got myself confused which is which, but I better not mix these up because I need this for the experiment. So what we're actually going to do now, we're going to shape it. Now, I've seen lots of process on this, and believe me, it can become a bit convoluted and a little bit confusing. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut down on some of the process. So one of the things that they tell you to do is you kind of take it out, and then there's certain techniques to pre-shape the dough, and then we'll go away for another half an hour. everyone hasn't got kind of that luxury of time, to be fair. And we're trying to fit this round us, we're not fitting round it. But this is kind of a critical point where you say, actually, you know, I need to do something. This is the point I need to do something. And if I don't get on with it, it's going to overprove. Because that's what we want to avoid. So basically, like I was saying with the starter, it reaches a maximum, reaches a point. When you look at the jar, you know, when you feed it every day, you look and it raises up, it reaches its maximum, and then it falls back down. It exhausts and then it goes. And without going into the science of it, that's what this will do. So when it starts to fall back down, that's called overproving. And it'll actually inflate even more than this first, but it's losing its structure. What happens is it just kind of puffs up to the point where it literally can't hold any more, then it sinks back down. Certainly when you touch it, it'll sink. And it's very weak. We want to kind of get it at the point where it's still strong and it's still kind of, you know, wanting to do its thing. We want to catch it at that point, so we harness all of that in our loaf, because that's what we want, the nice structure, and we'll get onto that. But enough talk, because I kind of wanted to spend a little bit more on this part of the step of the process, because it's important. So we're going to shape it. So and we're going to do it all by hand. I'll get myself a scraper out just in case. I don't think I'm going to need it. So we're not stretching and folding this time, and we're going to do most of it in the bowl, which is good. I've got me, this is me rice flour, and like I say, I'm going to go on to using, and I can't see any reason why I can't use it, semolina flour, fine semolina flour. I've got my Benetton baskets because I'm doing 2, so they're prepared. I've used these before, and you can see there's still residues in there. I'll give them a bit of a tap out, but that's as much as that gets. So we're going to do our stretch and tuck. You know, that's like the nip and tuck, I suppose. But it's all like plastic surgery, isn't it? So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the side and we're just going to pull it over. We're going to get our hand in there and we're just going to pull it over. And it might seem a little bit sticky to start with. I'm just doing it slow. Now, we're not being kind of frightened of the dough, but we are still being gentle with it. So, if you like, robust without being bull in a china shop. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. So we just pull it round. And what happens is, bit by bit, it just gets stronger and stronger and stronger, like we said before, and stronger and stronger, and then it starts holding together. Now you've got, when you get to this point, we're kind of doing it. Let me kind of step back just one step. And what am I trying to achieve? Well, I tell you what I'm trying to achieve by doing this, and I say it's getting tighter and tighter. We're creating a dome on the dough. Now I've taken it out. We're creating a dome, and we want to create some tension on that. Because when it goes into the basket and proves again, because that's the next part of the process, what we want to do is have that tension across the top. So when it bakes, it evenly rises up and it gives us a nice shape, because that's what we're looking for. And to get the shape, the most important part of getting the shape is the fermentation of what we've just done. That long fermentation there, that long proving, not fermenting, proving. The long proving will actually do that for us. Now I'm going to take it out and I'm going to kind of show you something else. So that now will be the top, the bit that was on the bottom where we've stretched like that, and I'm tucking this in. This actually is the bottom of the dough. This is the top. So I'm going to put it on the top. Now you can continue to do this in the bowl if you want, but just one method I've found works is this, and I'm going to kind of simplify the next one for you so you can see, well, I don't like doing what you're doing there, so we won't do that. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to get my hands in it like that, and I'm just going to pull the dough like that. You can use one of these if you want to, and just push that in. And what we're doing is we're creating a tension on the dough. Now, I don't think I've seen anyone do this, to be fair. which, to be fair, I'm kind of overlapping some of my normal bread making into this, but it's achieving the same thing. So other people will just pinch it from the other way. And all I'm doing is I'm kind of folding it on itself. And don't worry if your fingers it'll get less sticky as you're doing it. And you see the top gets shinier. Let's say nothing difficult, shiny. You don't have to do this. Shinier, 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 till you get to the point where it looks, you know what? That's looking quite smooth on the top. And there, if I turn it upside down, you can see it's wanting apart. So it's holding together, and you see people do this, which is fine. It's all fine, because all we are achieving at the end of the day is kind of that dome on the top. That's what we. Now I'm handling this more than I need to, and more than I should be. But it's more for the demonstration side of things. So I'm kind of happy where we are there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bit. Now this is the top, right? The shiny bit. I'm going to put some flour over the top there. Now, like I said, this is the rice flour. Just a little bit of flour over the top. And I'm going to put some flour in my basket. So make sure you get enough rice flour. Make sure you get enough in, because we don't want it sticking. And the reason for using rice flour is because it's got no gluten in it. And it won't form a paste. So it's not going to form a paste and stick like glue. That's why we don't use normal flour. That's why we use rice flour. So, here we go. So I'm going to now pick this up. See if I can try to... see, I've probably made things a bit more difficult. So yeah, let's tuck it back in as we were. Let's do that. Let's just tuck that in. There we go. And you're saying, will you put flour on the edge? Fine, absolutely fine. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to tip it upside down now, like that, and I'm going to drop it in the basket. Yeah, and what you can do if you want is just kind of give it a last nip together on the top. It's fine if you want to. If you don't, it's fine. And we've done as much as that we're going to do there. And it will stretch. It will fall back into place. It's fine. It will fall back onto the edge. It's just what it is. And we're just going to give it another little dust round the sides, because this is going to now go into the fridge for 12 hours. You see, and another part of the process, yeah, 12 hours. And there's a reason behind that. So, what we're going to do is we're going to cover it, and I'm going to mark this one so I know that this one is ours. So this is new. So I don't get confused. Now that's going to go in the fridge for 12 hours. The reason it goes in for 12 hours is to finish the fermenting. It's called finish the proving. It's called the cold proof, and it's where sourdough develops its distinct flavour. So going in the fridge for 12 hours will give you that flavour. You can cook it earlier, right? But by giving it around the 12-hour mark, we'll develop the distinct sourdough flavour. That's the reason. Like I said, I'm spending a little bit more time doing this just to explain the importance of this process. So, if I don't get on with it, this is going to be overproved before we've moved on. So again, I'm going to do this kind of more without explaining everything. I'm going to do it more as it would be for you to do. So I'm getting it like this, and I'm just going to give it a tuck around the side. And I've seen different, like I say, I've seen different methods where people are lifting the whole thing out and working it on the top, and that's good. If you want to do that, you can do that. You can go and, you know, research a little bit more. All the point of this, and the whole point of it, is to simplify the process for you. For those out there who are daunted by sourdough, simplify the process enough so you can go away and you can try this for yourself and say, do you know what, there was nothing in there that was too onerous, that was too difficult. I managed to do it, and I'm just kind of even using the other hand there just to like hold it while I'm stretching it, because it does naturally want to go back. And like I say, I've not seen people use this technique. Some arm development. It does naturally want to go back, but just to encourage it, if you like, to tighten up. And you'll find your own. Like I say, you can just continue with the one, but that's doing it there. That is actually doing it. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put a bit of flour over the top of this one, and I'll show you the other method. So you literally pick all the bits together like that. Pick all the bits together, and you lift it up. I mean, tilt the bowl upside down like that, and then you flour that part. And the reason I floured the top part there is so it doesn't really stick so much to my hand. Flour the basket, and then we're going to plonk it in there. There we go. It has stuck a little bit in my hands, but that's the nature of it. It is like that. And all I'm going to do is just tidy that up a little bit in the basket. Just kind of knit it together like that. And there we are. There we are. That's kind of, that looks fine. In fact, probably actually it looks better than that one, to be fair. And all I've done, I like to say, is I've tipped it up onto my hand, out the bowl, lifted it up, tipped it over, and not forgetting the dome bit is the bit that goes in the basket. So the bit that was on the bottom there was there, then becomes the top. So you've always got to make sure that the top of the dough, the round dome bit, goes into the basket and sticky side up, and that's it. So there we go, sourdough number 2, which yeah, it's yeah, that's, I'm just looking, yeah, this is mine, this one, yeah, this is, well, they're both mine, but this is the old one. So they'll both stretch again in there, so they'll both kind of do their own thing. It's a bit mucky, that one. Tell you what, I'll get a new one for the top of that. So now, I mean, I've stuck that on top. What I'm actually going to do, just reverse down a step, because I've got these caps to go on. You can just use this if you like, but I like using a cap on top. The reason I use a cap is because if there's any kind of condensation that's created in the fridge, it kind of absorbs into this a little bit, and it doesn't just drip back down onto the bread. Well, it's not a problem, but it's just, and then I put this back over the top, just to keep everything hygienic in the fridge and what have you. Not like there'd be a problem, but that's it. So I'm going to stick that one over the top, and because I'm using it, I can use that old cap. It doesn't really old shower cap, it's fine. I'll just put the sticky bits on the outside. And like I say, this is all real, it's just how it is. This will take, like I say, doing this will take maybe once or twice to get the hang of doing. But literally you're just stretching it over and you'll get the idea of what we're about. Now you can wet your hands, you can do that to stop the sticky. But I've found that the overall benefit of that doesn't you know, it doesn't really help you. I mean, I was just gonna wash my hands, but you can end up just with like watery, it just looks like residue all over the place. So you think, what's that? Little splats of little like glutinous stains all over, flour stains. Anyway, so that's enough of that. So we marked up which is which. That's going in the fridge now, 12 hours. And then we'll turn it out and bake it. So up to now, there's been nothing difficult. This has been the most onerous part of the process. That's why I've spent more time on it, just to explain about the proving, what we're looking for. Like I say, the wobble in the bowl, the air, you'll see the carbon dioxide bubbles. Inevitably, you've got to see that if it's risen. There's a dome on top. It jiggles, it wobbles in the bowl. And it has actually changed smell as well. So there's different sensors you can use to say, yeah, but the key one is having it rise to the point in the bowl where you want it to be. So for these bowls, it's a 2-litre bowl, and I've got measured a 20 ml mark from the top. So I've just got my tape measure, 20 mils, 2 centimeters that is, and I've marked that at the top of the bowl. Now, some of the methods, like I say, are just purely time. And if you go purely by the time, so like I say, there's some respected writers who've, gone over this process, say leave it for so many hours. Well, I've done that and it hasn't worked. It just hasn't turned out. It might work for theirs because their conditions might be different. So time is a little bit unreliable because there's variables. What seems to be the most reliable of the two is the volume, how much it rises. That will change as things get warmer. But we're talking about now, we're talking about around 20 degrees. If it's a bit more, a bit less, it's fine. I mean, if it's 25, 26 degrees, it is going to make a difference and we have to adjust things. But let's not talk about that now. Let's just talk about making loaves today. So at these conditions, they're the loaves prepared and they're going to go in the fridge 12 hours. And you're going to say, if you don't shut up, you're not even going to have to put them in the fridge. You'll be baking them. So I'm going to shut up. They're going in the fridge and we'll bake these tonight. So enough said, enough done. That's it. All the hard part is done, out the way. Honestly, there's nothing difficult. You just have to get your head around a little bit of doing what I've done there. And you'll soon, once you get your hands on, you'll soon know what I'm talking about. And it's getting your hands on. That's going to be the thing. So don't worry. I've seen people put it in the basket like this without doing hardly any of that. Just put it in as it is out the bowl, and it still works. So don't worry about that. But if we can do it kind of right to start with, get somewhere where we need to be, then we're ahead. So there we go. So bye for now. I know I've waffled on for a long part on this stage, but I did want to give you a little bit of explanation on this, a little bit more. This is not technical or anything, but just a little bit more fleshing on it to understand a little bit more. Not that I understand that much, but there we go. I'm going to take my little Daisy out for a walk now because I think she's wanting a morning walk. She's been out in the garden, but she's going to have a walk. So bye for now, and we'll see you later on. So take care and have a lovely day.